Listen, before we get too far into this, I understand wholeheartedly the desire to watch a movie and have that urge to say a couple things every here and there. Maybe a funny comment, maybe something that kind of pops to mind. Maybe you exclaim an oh shit kind of moment in an oh shit kind of moment. But if you're talking throughout the entirety of the movie and feeling the need to comment on absolutely everything, I have one message for you.
Your mom's a hoe.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Plane. Directed by Jean-François Richet and written by people like Charles Cumming and J.P. Davis, this film stars Gerard Butler, Michael Colter, Tony Goldwyn, and many more. So Plane is a brand new film that came out this week, and I just got to go check it out, and yeah, I enjoyed this one. I'm going to keep this one short, sweet, and to the point because this is a pretty short, sweet, and to the point kind of movie. I've seen some people in their early reviews that I've already checked out saying that the film is generic, and while I do agree that there are generic elements of this film, for the most part, I'm happy to say I enjoyed this film. With that said, I'll go ahead and start this off by saying I don't know that this is a film you need to rush to theaters to see, nor do I think it's a movie that you need to purchase or rent as soon as you see it available on some sort of digital platform. This is the perfect movie to throw on just a lazy Saturday or just a chill Sunday morning with your family, with your friends, whatever the case may be, and just kind of throw it on Netflix, Hulu, or whatever other streaming service you may have where this will inevitably pop up. This movie, the base premise, without getting into spoilers, what you can see in the trailers is that you have a pilot, a captain played by Gerard Butler, and he finds out shortly into the preparation for setting off for a flight that only has 14 passengers that he's also going to be transporting a fugitive played by Mike Colter. So now Gerard Butler's got a little bit more stress on his shoulders. He's kind of like, I got this plane with not too many people on it, and now there's a fugitive on here. I've never really had to deal with this, but let's just keep him away from everybody else and do what we got to do. However, unfortunately, not too long into the flight, they end up running into some bad weather that has them crash land onto an island near the Philippines that's unfortunately controlled by separatists and criminals and does not have any of the Philippines government there. After that, the separatists and all the criminals end up showing up. They end up taking all of the passengers hostage, and now Gerard Butler's character, the captain, must work with the fugitive played by Mike Colter to save the rest of the hostages, save all the passengers, and get off of this island safely. And that's the base premise. That is pretty much what this movie is, and I'm happy to say I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice time at the movies, just sitting there. I have an AMC A-list, you know, it's part of my 3 movies I get to watch a week. I don't feel like I lost anything by going to see this movie using AMC A-list, but that's why I said earlier I don't know that this is something that you need to rush out to see. If you're somebody who doesn't go to the movies too often, you like to save your money for a big event film or something that really feels worth seeing on the big screen, then I would say maybe don't go see Plane. The film is just very straightforward, and just like its title, it's got some generic elements. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not crazy about the fact that this movie's just called Plane, but okay. And overall, I just found it to be a good time. That's really the best way to put it. Gerard Butler and Mike Colter, I found that were really great in the film. I enjoyed their chemistry. I enjoyed the time spent with them to kicking ass, and that's really where the enjoyment of this film comes from. Beyond that, there's not much character development. There's not much story development. It's a really straightforward movie. It's an action movie that knows what it is. It's not trying to be anything bigger than that. Characterization is minimal, and beyond some badass action sequences and people getting gunned down and some tense moments with the plane crashing and tense moments of them trying to get out of the hands of these separatists and the criminals, the movie again is just very straightforward. It's not trying to be anything more than it is. It doesn't try to overstay its welcome in any way, shape, or form. And by the time the movie was over, I thought, hey, that was a good time. I enjoyed it, but I don't know that this is a movie that's going to be making my top 10 of the year. It's not making any sort of top 10 worst, I don't think so, but it's not going to be the top 10 best in any way, shape, or form. It's not going to be something I'm really clamoring to revisit either. It's not a movie that by the time we get to the end of the year, I'll be like, wow, that's one of my favorites, but I enjoyed it for what it was, and I feel like that's the best way I can approach this review. The things to really highlight about this film for sure are Gerard Butler and Mike Colter. I feel like those two definitely are the highlights of this movie, and the time spent with them having to go and save the hostages and the passengers is really where I found myself the most engaged. Where I found myself feeling that the film was the most generic and disconnected is with all the other characters, specifically the passengers who you don't really spend a whole lot of time with outside of seeing seeing them be either the a-hole or being the scared person or being the person who's a bit frantic. Whatever the case may be, they're just kind of your stereotypical hostage characters in a movie. And though there are just a few of them, you would have kind of hoped that we would have spent more time with them, but we really don't. And by the time we came to the end of the movie, when it comes to all of the supporting characters outside of Gerard, Butler, and Mike Colter, I just found myself not really caring for any of them. I wasn't connected to any of them. And beyond them, then you have the people that work for the airline that are trying to discover where they are, trying to find where this plane has crash landed. And so when we go back to the offices and the people that are, you know, looking at computer screens and trying to discover where everybody is, I wasn't really connected to any of that either. That's where we see Tony Goldwyn's character and a lot of the other characters that are trying to figure out how to help the individuals have crash landed. And while that's your typical run-of-the-mill kind of thing in a movie like this, yeah, that element of the film is where I felt myself just feeling, oh, this is a little bit generic, something just that feels very run-of-the-mill. Didn't hate it, didn't dislike it, but it just never really did anything for me when we did that or spent time with those characters. But when we are focusing on the hostage saving situation, the action movie part of this movie with Gerard Butler and Mike Colter, I think that that's where this movie really shines. And I think that if you're looking for something that's straightforward, has some tense scenes, and just has some fun action, this movie will definitely wet your whistle, but it's nothing to go crazy about. And I don't think this is a movie that people are going to remember too much in just a few years. So yeah, guys, that's going to be my short and sweet thoughts on Plane. A very straight to the point movie, and I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. So hit that like button, comment your thoughts, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.